So I'm very, very happy to have you with us here for our next installment in our webinar series. Today, we're going to talk about CRM integration, and we want to show you a few options that are available to tackle this, because when it comes to CRM integration, as you might be aware, there are a few options, and it truly depends on how your SMBs, your business customers, prefer to communicate with their customers, how they like to work, what tools they use. So it also depends on that's the main reason why there's a few options. So just to help basically all business customers to use the tools that they prefer, we want to give you that flexibility also. So without much further ado, let's take a look at our presenters today. So hopefully you might know me, Klaus Hertel. I head the partnership side at PortaOne, and I'm very, very happy to be joined by Anoma Adeyemi of PressOne. And Anoma, if you don't mind briefly introducing yourself.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Yes, I'm Anoma Adeyemi, Chief Commercial Officer at PressOne Africa. Happy to be here.
Great. Thank you, Anoma. And I'm also have Ken Adams of P2P as one of our co-presenters today. Ken, if you don't mind introducing yourself briefly also.
Sure, depending on where you are. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I'm Ken Adams, co-founder and president of P2P Labs, and we will be looking at our product Helios today. Thanks for joining.
Great. Thank you so much, both of you. And let's take a look at our agenda today. So first of all, we want to take a look at the two practical approaches of tackling CRM integration, or how to add communication to existing commercial CRMs that your business customers might be using. So first, we're going to take a look at the PressOne CRM dialer. And after that, we're going to look at P2P's Helios omnichannel CX platform. We will also briefly mention and touch on the PortaOne Workflows, because whenever there is an integration need, or you want to make sure that multiple platforms work well together, there's oftentimes it's quite helpful to have an automation platform or a middleware, or sometimes called an iPaaS, that can basically move data from one place to another, and to make sure that the 2 or 3 platforms that you use work flawlessly together. And that's where PortaOne Workflows fits in. We don't have separated slides on that, but we do have on our YouTube channel quite an extensive library of PortaOne Workflows themed videos, so I invite you to take a look at that. And as mentioned, we also have a Q&A at the end, to hopefully get some of your questions answered. And so there might be a chance for a small discussion among the 3 of us, and hopefully you find value in that as well. So the one thing before I pass the mic to Anoma, I just wanted to briefly cover also why we're having this webinar. So I feel like there's obviously a lot of, maybe not confusion, but we wanted to take this opportunity to bring a bit more clarity into various options to integrate CRMs or adding communication to CRMs. And we felt this is a good way of doing it by presenting the 2 preeminent ways of doing it. We have many available options on our add-on mart. And again, by highlighting the most important ones and bringing clarity of what each of these do, we feel it makes it a bit easier for you to know which ones will be right for you. But again, if you have any questions, you can ask them at the end of this session, or obviously always reach out to the 3 of us after this webinar today. So with that, I would like to ask Anoma to start with your segment, and I'm gonna pass the control to Anoma, so she'll be able to control her own slides. Please feel free. So it might take a little while, but you should be able to move forward now.
All right. So thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here to pretty much go over this, should I say, prevalent problem that we as CSPs kind of encounter with our business customers. So with much further ado, I would like to start off introducing who we are at PressOne Africa. We are a communication service provider. We're a startup backed by Ventures Platform and Techstars. And pretty much we have put in significant investments in protocols and API services to pretty much ensure that we are leading innovative solutions for telephony technology across Africa, right? And of course the world, right? With this partnership with PortaOne, definitely you have access to some of the solutions that we have developed, and looking forward to working with you on the solutions. Right, let's get into it. So just to reiterate the problem, right? I know your business customers already are using a familiar CRM or CRM of their choice. And what we know happens is these customers have the list of their contacts on their preferred CRM. They're able to manage conversations, maybe email conversations on, and pretty much update those contacts with phone number, I don't know, email, whatever, right? But what we found is when you do have when you do want to try to strike up a conversation with these customers and you want to make a call, you would either, it's one of two options. You either pick up a physical phone and dial the number that is represented as a CRM, or you go into a different platform that is a voice communication tool to make that call. What happens after that call is, of course, you don't have the information that you've gotten from that call. Say that customer asks you to, say that customer reveals some particular information that you think should have everyone who's ever going to manage that customer should have access to. You would have to manually input it into the CRM if your CRM allows you to do that. But the truth of the matter is that conversation was taken outside of your CRM. Even the call recordings, if you have access to them, will be outside of the CRM. So what we've done is pretty much we've solved that problem by issuing customized telephony widgets for any CRM. I will be demoing for HubSpot and Zoho because that is what we have available, although we do have Freshworks available right now too. But the point is this: we have made this easier for you as a CSP, right? We want you to be able to solve this problem for your business customers as easy as possible. So what have we done? We've pretty much allowed you to create a widget, a call widget on any HubSpot CRM or Zoho CRM, right? And you can design those widgets with your branding, or if not, you can use what we've already done with PortaOne, right? If you're fine with PortaOne, that's available to you as well, right? But what we've done, we've kind of, should I say, democratized this solution such that you can, if you're big on your maintaining your brand vision, your brand code, pretty much do this on your own. Then we can create those apps and you can also deploy those apps. And the truth of the matter is you can actually do this in 5 simple steps and in 15 minutes or less. Right, so let's go into HubSpot. Right. If we're going to start this process with you, we would share a simple URL. This is something similar to what we sent to you, and then you can deploy your call widgets in 5 simple steps. First, you have to authenticate the platform, create a HubSpot widget or app. Of course, you have to configure your HubSpot credentials. I'm assuming you already would have clients using HubSpot, so you require a HubSpot developer account. And then you deploy the created app. Once you've gone through steps 1 to 4, all you have to do is share the installation URL to your end business customer, and they install it, and it works. Like I said, you can complete all of this 5 steps in 15 minutes or less. Worst case, 30 minutes if you decide to take a coffee break in between. But what we've done is we made it easy for you so that you can be the one-stop shop for any communication service to your business customer, right? So this is how it's going to look like. This is a HubSpot CRM dashboard, and there's a widget right here. Now, you can see the widget over here. Right now, it's the PortaOne branded for PortaOne, so it's the PortaOne widget. But the idea is on every page of the HubSpot CRM, you will have that widget hanging around. So you could click on it and start a conversation with whatever customer you want to, right? So you have to log in first, and then this is what the incoming call looks like, and the accepted call. And of course, for all the things that you need, you can add notes to a call while the call is ongoing. And of course, all the calls are recorded, and you can have access to those conversations on HubSpot, right? So we have solved that problem, and this is what you get. So this is what your business customers get when you create this widget for them, right? Now, this is pretty much the same process for Zoho. I hope you get, I think you can see a pattern here, right? It's the same 5 steps. We will send you a URL. You do an authentication, create a Zoho widget app, configure Zoho credentials, deploy the created app, then share the URL to your business customers to install the app on their Zoho marketplace. That's it. 5 steps, done in 15 minutes. Now, just to give you an idea of what this looks like with Zoho, pretty much the same. You have the widget here on the Zoho, on the background on the Zoho platform. Zoho platform. And then you can begin making calls seamlessly. Now, this is the login screen. Once you've logged in, you can make your outgoing calls, make your incoming calls, and then of course you can take notes while you make the call. So that's pretty much it. I know. But I want to make this clear to you. If, for example, if you don't have developers in-house and the 5 steps are too much for you, or maybe you're just a perfectionist and you would like us to walk you through this process, you have the opportunity to reach out to me at PressOne. Those are my details, and we'll pretty much set up a session and get you installed in 15 minutes or less, and you're good to go. So that's it. I know it's simple, it's very easy. I'm sure you will have questions, but yeah, that's what we did for you.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much, Onoma. And I think Onoma has one poll that she would like to ask. So I'm going to launch the poll here and just make sure we give you a chance to have your feedback heard. So I'm going to launch this. And if you don't mind, we can give us your feedback. You should be able to see the options here. So the question is, which CRM telephony widget would you like PressOne to cover next? I see here already 2 votes for Microsoft Dynamics. The other options are Freshworks, Salesforce, Pipedrive. Onoma, I do believe Freshworks is already in the work.
Freshworks is already available right now, actually. Yes. Just before this webinar. I confirmed from the team just like a day ago. Yeah. So Freshworks is available.
Yeah. And I also would like to offer this opportunity if there is maybe another CRM that we did not specifically ask about, feel free to either put it in the chat or put it in the Q&A. So in case we've forgotten a major platform that you might use in your market and we're not aware of, that would also be helpful. So it looks like Microsoft Dynamics seems to be the clear leader here with 7 out of 11. So Salesforce with 3 votes and Freshworks with 1. So thank you so much for answering this poll. It's very helpful. Once again, thanks a lot. So I'm gonna end the poll here and move this out of the way. And I'm gonna just open my Q&A. So there is a couple other CRMs here mentioned, and I'll share that with you and Onoma after the webinar here.
Yep.
So with that, I would like to thank you, Onoma, and thanks for listening. And obviously stay on for the Q&A for the very end. So, before we do that, we're going to hand the mic over to Ken. So Ken, feel free to control your slides.
Sure, thanks. And thanks, Onoma. That was good. You guys are working on a lot of cool stuff there. I look forward to trying that out actually in Zoho. So we'll see how that works. So I'm Ken from P2P Labs. I'm somewhat of a dinosaur in the industry in the States, I guess you could say. Been in this for a long time. And I've been in your shoes. I came up as a communication service provider. We were called ITSPs back then. So I understand the pain that you go through on a daily basis, and so does the rest of our team. We all have hands-on experience from the CSP side, and what we did just over 3 years ago, we decided to start P2P Tech and P2P Labs with the sole focus on supporting CSPs, MSPs, and other service providers who are looking to add voice or messaging capability to their platform or looking for new platforms, right? So what we do is we're kind of like I would say, Shelby to Ford, right? We take the engine that you have, like PortaOne, and we make it into a race car. That's our specialty. And what are those race cars? Things like I'm going to show you today, Helios, which adds the full suite of unified communications on top of your existing PortaOne platform. So we're not trying to displace the voice engine like some of the other omnichannel customer engagement platforms out there. We built this to be voice agnostic, meaning we don't want to take over your voice, right? So you keep your voice platform, and we do a deep integration into PortaOne. We use PortaPhone as well within our Helios portal. And we also use it outside of that for people who just need, generic SIP device into some platform that's not fully integrated yet, something like that. So anyways, as you can see, we do offer full suite of services and software as a service with PortaOne. We have an offering called Cosmos. We have our Helios offering that rides on top of and fully integrated in PortaOne. And then we also offer the technical services beyond that. If I can get mine working again. There we go. So Helios is an omnichannel engagement as a service offering for service providers. And we took a little bit different of a stance here. We actually wanted to bring the enterprise type features down to the small and medium businesses at a very affordable price rate, with keeping high margins in mind for our service provider customers. So what we do is we integrate social channels, SMS, chat, video, autonomous AI bots, email, and voice from the PortaOne platform, all into a single pane of glass within Helios. So what do we actually do, right? We integrate email, social media, other things. So Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, we have Telegram, we have SMS, PortaOne. We're also looking at our roadmap to do LinkedIn, which is going to be a great addition to the messaging channels. And we also will be adding Apple Business Messenger down the road through our roadmap. So, right now, you see things are kind of scattered all over the place when it comes to omni-channel. You might have, Facebook in this app over here, or maybe you just have Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp all separate and not contained in a single place for you to answer back and forth to your customers that use those channels, right? So we want to empower you to be where your customers are, where they want to live, right? Not all customers want to pick up a phone and have a verbal phone call anymore. A lot of people want to be able to get on WhatsApp or Instagram or a bunch of other social channels and talk to you that way to start with. Now we can take that conversation into a voice or video conversation from the messaging, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But they can start off chatting to you how they want to chat to you. That's the important part. So why is this important? Here's the big ones. WhatsApp, 3 billion users globally. How many messages per day? And this is probably a few months outdated now, so it's grown. Telegram, Instagram. How many of you and how many of your customers are missing out on potential opportunities because it's disparate, or they're not using it at all because they don't understand how to message back and forth on those platforms or how important it is to the end users. So there's a difference between multi-channel and omni-channel. Multi-channel, yes, sure, there's a lot of platforms that can bring these technologies in, but I'm still going to separate parts of those technologies, like a separate portal or a separate, in the case of some CRMs, you actually have multiple different products within the CRM you have to tie together to get the multi-channels to talk to each other. So we took that and we made it truly omni-channel. So everything comes into a single inbox for your agents, and it's a shared inbox environment. Your whole team can be on there. It also, based on what keys they belong to, they can actually see every conversation that's going on and pick up right where someone who just got off shift left off. So something to keep in mind, an omni-channel strategy along with the right cloud solution, PortaOne in this case, to streamline workflow and facilitate collaboration across your teams is incredibly valuable to the SMBs. They're missing out on these right now. And you'll get a copy of this. So there's a lot of information here that I don't want to bore you with on the webinar. But if you see like companies that use omnichannel, here's the important parts: retain 89% of their customer base. 45% of companies have a noticeable revenue increase in the first year of implementing an omnichannel solution. Now, there's a good visual. Just because you can go to the grocery store with a big dump truck or mining truck, would you? So what that is referring to is, we're trying to, again, bring the enterprise features down to the small to medium business without that enterprise price package and displacing, your current voice solution that you offer. So we use what fits. So integration with email, SMS, social media, live chat, and the important things, we have AI chatbots now, web chat. So depending on how you want your customer to be interacted with, you can use a fully autonomous bot, or you can use basically AI prompting to your agents. So your agents can be live, but the AI will say, hey, you should show them this or send them to this link and things like that. So there's a lot of features built in that you can take advantage of right out of the gate, even if you're not ready for all of the other social channels. So web chat is the biggest thing that I see that's not in use out there. So for you CSPs on the call, if you're looking for another sticky way into your customers, a lot of our customers end up selling literally the web chat and an AI bot to start out with, because that's what the end customer is ready for. So they're not necessarily ready to go through the setup for meta business and all that kind of stuff, because they don't have a lot of demand on the social media channels yet, or particularly WhatsApp or something like that. So let's start capturing more leads from their website for them. And then, this is what SMBs want. We talked to a lot of our service providers. We talked about the differences in some of the enterprise offerings and what we offer. And we built Helios around those needs and those specified needs for the SMBs. I already talked about that. So what you'll get by integrating PortaOne, Helios, and PortaPhone is what we're calling UC+. We're taking the UC experience and we're enhancing it dramatically with all these other social channels and the one portal. And for those of you who are Lord of the Rings fans, the one portal to rule them all, right? So your agents will be able to interact with all the customer interactions in one place, interact with CRMs like HubSpot, Zoho, and others. And we have full API and workflow capabilities as well. There's so much to go into on the platform. It's best for you to reach out and we can do a live demo for you. Don't have enough time to do it on here because we have a lot of stuff that we dive into on the platform. Thanks everybody for your time today. Please reach out for more information. If you want to see the AI bot in action, you can visit engagep2p.com and go check out our live AI bot, and he'll tell you about our products and services.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ken. I'm just gonna start moving the mouse here on my end. Yeah, just give me one sec. Great. Thanks so much, Ken. Thanks so much, Onoma. That was fantastic. We already got a few questions here in, but before we get to the questions, I just want to mention from my end also, it reflects, or I feel very much, Onoma, what you said about working in the CRMs. I mean, that's the way sort of I prefer working, right? So we use HubSpot at PortaOne. I don't like switching. Once I know all my data, all my intelligence is in the HubSpot CRM, so it's very easy, and I see my deals, I see my contacts, and it's very easy to just click on a phone number and call that person with your widget. So it makes it very seamless and less disruptive, and you don't have to type the number. You can't make mistakes that way. So very, very good solution that way. And also what Ken's been saying, and that's why we also at PortaOne here, we don't feel your solutions are competing in any way. There's no real overlap. The way we see it is, organizations simply like working in different ways, and we feel our flexibility's always been a strong point about our platform, and we like doing that with our ecosystem as well, and say to CSPs, look, if you have organizations, businesses that like working in their CRM, I think PressOne dialers are a great way of helping them adding communication abilities. If you have organizations that already have an existing large social followers and things like that, and they really need an AI agent or a web chat on their website, I think it's great to look at Helios. And honestly, you could very much end up with both, because they do cover two different, very different areas. So one doesn't necessarily exclude the other. I do want to mention here, before we actually get to the Q&A, I think you might have seen it here on the previous slide. We do have a special offer for webinar participants. So if you do mention the promo code PORTA50CRM, you get 50% off any sort of custom integration for the next fresh PressOne dialer. So not the Freshworks one, because that one's already in the works, but any others, for instance, the Dynamics one or any other CRM that you'd like us to work on, you can get PortaOne offers to sponsor half of the cost of that initial integration. So if you're interested in that, make sure to reach out to either us at PortaOne or at PressOne also. So with that, we'd like to go over to the Q&A, and let me just kind of get caught up here on some of the questions. I think, Onoma, you already, thank you so much for already answering some of the questions here. So there was one question just for visibility for all the other participants, was asking whether PressOne's solution can be used with other soft phones besides PortaPhone. And yes, absolutely. I mean, of course, we oftentimes highlight the ability to use PortaPhone in it, but if you already have an existing soft phone, you can absolutely use that as well. There's a few other CRMs mentioned here in the Q&A. Onoma, just for your visibility, I can share them with you. One is Data CRM and Clientify. It's sometimes astounding just to kind of see the amount of different CRMs that are out there. So it's quite amazing to see, but I'm sure they all have their place. So I'm just going to see here. Any other questions that we can cover for you here? Otherwise, I'm sure we can also share a few more details on our end. Ken, what is sort of the most pressing or the biggest challenge that you see that you hear from organizations, businesses in the United States that you hear about?
Sure. So the challenge is there's so many things being thrown at everyone on a daily basis now with AI that it's hard to, figure out which direction to go. So a lot of people just sort of become paralyzed because it's just too fast and too much, right?
Yeah.
So we understand that, which is why we don't. It's the approach we took was we are AI first per se, but you don't have to use it if you're not ready for it. Right? So it's there when you're ready for it, or there when your customers are ready for it. That's the important thing to note is we can help weed out some of that noise and confusion when it comes to communication channels in AI, right? AI in general for your business processes and stuff, same confusion. But so you just have to look for solutions that work for your particular business processes, like onboarding a new employee, for instance, right? Or things like that.
Yeah. And I feel like at the same time, it seems a lot of organizations, they might be tempted to, they maybe at the moment they just have a phone number, right? And they're trying to sort of almost take too many steps at a time, and because they feel like they might be left behind. Whereas I feel even just little steps, just having a chat available, it could be quite helpful. Unoma, is
right.
That,
so I think
is that sort of what you feel also in what you hear in Nigeria?
Absolutely.
And across Africa?
Yeah, we see those same similar trends.
Yeah. Sorry, Ken, I cut you.
Oh, no worries. I think, you're gonna, especially when it comes to the smaller business, there is going to be hesitation because of the confusion out there, and the price points, and past experiences is a big one. They've tried some of these things and it didn't go well, right? So what I tell our CSPs when they first start out with Helios is focus on the simple. SMS enabled the business line and web chat with AI Copilot to assist the agents. Right? Mm-hmm. Very easy, and it's not very scary. So
yeah, interesting. Yeah, good. Do you see maybe just as a questions to the presenters, to the floor here, do you see voice going away completely?
While.
No, maybe Unoma. What are your thoughts?
Well, especially in the African region, voice is not going away in a hurry. Even with AI in NLP, NLP, there's still I guess it's cultural. They still want to have that one-on-one conversation with being. So as long as that is required in business, voice is not going to go away.
Yeah.
You still have 30 or 40-year-old PBX premise systems sitting in businesses in the States. We're not good. Voice isn't going away anytime soon.
I almost feel like there could be at some point almost like the pendulum swinging the other way, because oftentimes when I have conversations on the phone, folks are quite relieved, or finally I can actually speak to a human being. and prefer sort of the voice side and being able to just talk, right? But at the same time, let's say when I think about sort of my interactions with organizations, like let's say I have to call a bank or something, I actually don't really want to call. I would prefer just some sort of chat if it works and
right.
It doesn't send me around in circles.
Yeah, the current IVR systems, none of us like those. And you just keep telling it, give me an agent, right? Because it never understands you. Now, I will say on the AI side, there's some advances happening very fast. And even go on to 11 Labs, record yourself, and it pretty much spits out almost 100% accurate avatar of you and your voice now, but you have to train it, for an hour or so. But so the technology is coming. The adoption is what is going to be on the slow side, especially in the small business sectors across the world. It's not just a US thing, right? It's just adoption is always slower in that market. And that's and it's interesting. You'd think it would be faster. So for some things, for some technologies, it's faster. Like when mobile credit card processing came about and stuff like that. That's great for retail and small business because now they have a scan. They can scan it right on their iPad or their phones or whatever they use in the store instead of going over to a terminal and all that stuff, right? So I think there's some technologies that you can implement quickly into the small business, and others are going to take a long time to adopt. And I think
it's also a cultural shift, right?
Yeah, it's a cultural shift. So I think you'll find some quick AI wins for things like financial reports instead of Excel spreadsheets, stuff like that. But moving to fully autonomous bots and fully autonomous, voice chat agents, that's a tough one, right? Especially for smaller customers, small businesses.
Yeah, it looks like one of the participants, and thanks for the feedback, it's much appreciated, has the same sentiment, feels also voice is not going anywhere, it's not going away, being complemented obviously with many other channels that I'm sure we haven't even thought of yet. Just want to put it out there, obviously the Q&A or sort of questions, if you have any of the participants, that's still available. I don't think we will stretch out the session any more unless there's obviously sort of some parting thoughts from you, Onoma, or from you, Ken. Other than that, I do feel we can end it here, make the recording available next week, and I do appreciate you participating. I value your thoughts and your insight, and thank you very much, Onoma. Any parting thoughts?
No parting thoughts. I'm just looking forward to working here with everyone who's here right now.
Thanks a lot. How about you, Ken?
Oh, thanks for your time today, everybody. We appreciate you joining the webinar. It was great to be doing this with Onoma and Klaus, and hopefully we'll do another one in the future.
That sounds good. Very much looking forward. All right. Thanks so much, everyone. Thanks for participating. Have a good one.